That's because I had my microphone muted. The wife always gets paranoid if I don't mute my mic. She's afraid she might be heard on stream. Her biggest fear, apparently. There we go. So yes, lots of firefighting. I haven't been doing much of it. I fixed a few things here and there, but mostly it's been. I think Burning Toad has been the gets the firefighter of the day award. Hey, famines. Yeah, I have a camera that has like the light on it when it's on, but I still don't trust that. I get the light out and then I put a cover over it as well. I did have a USB hub down here that I would actually switch off all the devices, all the USB devices, to make sure the camera and the microphone weren't on, but it screws up too many things when I do that, so I'm not doing it right now. Let's see, what was I gonna do? Got tons of stuff to talk about, but I was gonna wait for a few more people to show up. Let me find a scene that is not as horrible as this one. Look at Falling Waters Fortress. That's a pretty scene. A good backdrop. Hey, thank you very much, Prison Bound, for two months in a row. Patch sucks. What? Why you hate our patch? Yeah. Again, this was a patch. I've been saying this on the air, but we got way more done than we thought we would get done, expected to get done, said we'd get done. It just wasn't the stuff we said we'd get done. So yeah, I'm sure there's some people who their babies, their things that they want didn't make it in. So totally understand. And, oh, hey, it's Lord British Rules. Thank you very much. And, oh, Mr. Lord British Rules, you will be happy to know, you didn't even know this, but Dale, I still don't have those maps that you signed. So I've been telling people basically on a daily basis, I'm trying to ship boxes, but I'm out of signed maps, and I'm waiting to get some, and Dale can't find them. Dale finally found them, and they're in good shape. Yes. Just this morning, he called me to tell me that he finally found them. I told him where I thought they would be, but he said they're in perfect shape, and he's got them at his house, and I'm going to drive over to his house and pick them up. I had already done the math, assuming the worst, because for those who don't know, they were left outside, and we've had a lot of rain in Austin, surprisingly. And I had all these nightmares of, like, these would be authentic, ancient maps, because they're covered in mildew and faded from the sun and all. That was going to be my pitch line, because I figured they'd be covered with mildew and faded from the sun, but it sounds like they're in good shape. So I should have some maps so I can resume shipping stuff again. Yeah, I think they were, yeah, I guess, I'm not sure exactly where he put them and why Dale couldn't find them until now, but he said he was over there and it's like, what was that? And he pulled it out and it's like, oh, it's the maps. But I've been messaging him occasionally. We tried to actually meet up. I went out there a couple times and never managed to get in. Richard, you missed it, but I'd been talking on stream about going and renting a kayak or a canoe and canoeing over to your place to try to get the maps. Wait, hold on a second here. I'm missing out on everything. Where was that? Nope, Lord British Rules, Prison Bound. Oh, Gravity 42. There we go. Thank you very much, Gravity. Oh, I don't have the raffle up. Hold on, I gotta get the other thing up. Oh, and I still haven't got the chatbot thing hooked up yet. I did reset some values on my main thing over here, so maybe that fixed it? Maybe? Maybe? Probably not. Let's see. Hold on. This is slow to come up. Hold on. Wait for it. Yeah, I still don't have my scripts back. Man. Alright, I will make time. Again, you guys know I've been busy here, so let me reset that. Let me figure out what I'm going to give away here for this first one. I'm probably going to do... I will probably only do... I got a little late start here, so I'm probably going to do an hour and a half before the family gets home. I'm sure you guys understand that I could use a break. Let's see. What is on sale today that I want to give away? I think the satin bodice. That will definitely appeal to my 90% male audience. Well, they could give that away as a gift, I guess. How about, let's see, ornate. Oh, that's kind of a neat thing. Post and rope water fence set. What? That's kind of a limited audience. Not everybody has water stuff. We'll just start off with the Village Stone Arena Basement. It's on sale today for 1,200 crowns. If you don't win, you can always go buy it. Alright, let me get that in there. Village Stone Arena Basement. I like giving away the village stuff. Stone Arena Basement. Bam. Alright, let me see. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. A beautiful day in the neighborhood. Won't you be mine? Won't you be mine? And, oh, get this. I kid you not. Here, I'll just share it since you won't believe me if I don't. Hold on. First person in, because I always, for those who don't know, I always try to call out who got in first so I can see who the fastest fingers or the greedy fingers are. Here's who got in first. Lord British rules. Famine second, Elwyn third, Corsevius and Scan 4. I'll tell you what, we're going to make Richard the wild card. If it comes up random with Lord British rules, everyone gets a car. Okay, that's not true, but I'll give out, if Lord British comes up on that, I'll re-roll like 3 times and give out 3 of those. Let's see. So, we have a release today. Obviously, as I was saying a little bit earlier, there's a lot of stuff that was on the list of things that was going to make it in that did not make it in, that we punted. Again, that's one of those things is we're trying to, going forward, we realized that was actually hurting the quality of what we were making quite a bit, to have strict planned ahead and try to, like, this is what we said we're going to do, so we're going to do it, even if different stuff comes up. Flare. Wait, is that Flare? Oh, you don't have a fairy belt. I'll give out a fairy belt later, Flare. If you're in there. But anyways, so release is looking awesome. And Gwendolyn, I still don't have the question thing fixed. I've been putting it off just because I don't have time to go look into stuff like that. My scripts apparently became deauthorized, and I've got to go figure out what's up with it here, and I just haven't had time. So I've been just trying to read my questions. Gwendolyn, the question is, will any of the new artifacts be found in supply bundles or all just on bosses? I will be putting at least a couple of them on in supply bundles. That may be where they go first, as I try to get them in more accurate places. And then probably what I'll do is I'll put them in supply bundles with a low drop rate now, so there's a chance people can get them, and supply bundles will suddenly be more valuable. And then once I get them put onto the proper bosses, I will probably leave them in the supply bundles, but maybe add like an extra 0. So instead of a 0.1%, it's going to have a 0.01% chance to drop. So that there's always, even though I like doing the boss is the only way to get it, having it be something that is crazy rare off other stuff, just because it's like, you don't expect it, but when it happens, you won the lottery, and It feels awesome. Oh, look at the crazy trees. Why are my trees still crazy? Oh, that's right. We reverted that. If you guys recall, I actually fixed this on a stream, but it actually ended up making it snow in all the scenes for a few days. And I think that got reverted, and I don't think we ever went back and fixed it. So I need to go back and fix it the right way, which I have to do one file at a time. Because actually what happened on those was there were multiple files where you set the wind values and the turbulence values and all these things. And they're really tedious to work on, especially with Unity being so crazy slow these days. And so I selected multiples at a time and edited them all, that which fixed the trees. But apparently something I touched copied data from the alpine scene over to the non-alpine scene, which is why you guys had snow in game. I was trying to... Hey, Snugs, thank you very much for showing up. Oh, and thank you very much to Legion of Myth for an amazing 29 raid. Now it's a party. Thank you, sir. And for those guys who are streaming, I'm not going to be on long today. Again, probably still going to quit by 4. And I have plenty of my own stuff to talk about, but I'll be answering questions and doing prizes and all the usual stuff. I should be doing specials. Why do I not have specials planned out? Hey, Iron Fist Warhammer. Thank you very much. We got a few Warhammers out there, I think. I don't think you're Gaylorn. Is it Gaylorn? No, he's not Warhammer. I forget what Gaylorn. Gaylorn Hammerhand. That's what I'm thinking of. But I've got lots of stuff to talk about, so just build stories and stories from the trench here. Let's see. Sean Butts, it would be nice if the pot owners could control weather in their town. So I'm hoping, I'd hope to do it for this release, but again, as quite frequently, I overloaded myself with stuff and didn't get half the stuff I wanted done, but got a lot of stuff done, just not some of the cool things. So what I'd hoped to do for this release was actually adding some new features for pot owners and dungeon owners. Oh, and for those who are new to the chat, that Lord British rules, I have verified that is actually Lord British. I didn't believe him the first time he came on, but some nice person had already taken the Lord British on Twitch, so he can't be Lord British on Twitch. Should offer to buy it off of him. We will give you a city lot deed in game if you will give up the name Lord British. Give it to the real Lord British. Oh man, what was I going to talk about? Oh, yay! Thank you for the resub, Lord British Rules. But yeah, so things seem to be going pretty well. We've got a few bugs we're going to work out, but I know what I was going to talk about. Pot owners and dungeon owners. So the dungeon owners is where this kind of originated from, is pushing for it, but I'm going to definitely get it in for dungeon owners. I'm still looking at pot owners, but giving you guys some of the kind of GME dev type stuff. Modifying the command that you guys always see me fly around with, that slew thing. Whee! Giving you guys a mild variant of this. So as a pot owner, because like as a pot owner, like these guys did an amazing job laying out their town, but I am pretty sure this was an insane amount of work getting all this stuff set up right. I mean, this is not an afternoon type thing, setting up things just right. And then there's also stuff like you can see from up here that they probably can't even see, like, hey, look, your dragon is slightly misaligned. Huh? See that dragon on the right? He's a little misaligned. If only you could see him from up here, you would notice these things. But anyways, yeah, this is an amazing town. I came back here. I think this is Tazar's town. Just last time I was out here, I was super impressed with it. So what I was hoping to do was give the governor of pots, and then the dungeon owners. If when you're in a dungeon and you're in deco mode, that you can basically do what I just did there. It'll have some limitations in that you won't be able to, when I do it and I move someplace, I end up teleporting to that, whatever that spot is. Uh-oh, I don't have God mode on. I better be careful. For you guys, it would be a limited distance from where you are. Pretty good distance, though. I mean, I plan to make it so you can get up like this high, probably. but it'll be a limited distance from where you start, and when you hit escape, you'll just be back where you were. It doesn't actually move you. So I'm hoping to give that to you guys. I'd hoped to, like I said, I was planning on sneaking that in, just as something for pot people. Just, again, I know what a pain it can be. And like the imperfections and all those little things it's hard to put your finger on. Like again here, like, yeah, I can just barely see that the dragon on the right is turned slightly different than the guy on the left, but you couldn't see that except from space. But anyways, for dungeon people, you guys know what a nightmare that is, trying to figure out the dungeon, like how do I connect? Why am I not connecting? But being able to fly out of the dungeon, again, this is one of those things where as much as we try to pay attention to immersion in the game, there's other times where like us forcing you into that immersion is actually hurting the gameplay, not just for you but for lots of people. It's wasting lots of your time and can be frustrating. So this is one, again, we're going to keep it to a limited audience, only the owner of the dungeon, when the dungeon is in deco mode, not in adventure mode. You won't teleport to the spot. It'll have a limited distance that'll go away, and then also for pod owners it'll be the same thing. But anyways, yes, I think that will help. Yeah, the fly through on the dungeon stuff is big. Next release I'm going to get back. This release kind of punted on most of the dungeon stuff I'd planned on doing. I'm nudging List to see if he can get some of the stuff. It sounded like he had some stuff that was close. We'll see if he gets that done and in for a patch. But next release I'm planning on being back on the dungeon stuff pretty heavily. So, let's see. Bugs. So we, for those who don't know, I'm up to 115 viewers. At least one or two of you out there probably don't know, but we're changing our rewards program. I guess I should be saying we changed our rewards program, which was, and our stretch goals. So stretch goals are not going to be a thing anymore. We, after looking at a lot of things, looking at the metrics to see are people actually stretching, does it actually encourage spending, which is the real point behind the stretch goals. It kind of quit being the point for us a while back, but didn't really encourage spending. It feels very much like a Kickstarter-y, just getting going type thing, not a, we're a game that's had 10 million hours played in it and has been online for 4+ years or whatever. Just didn't feel like it fit. And then also it was kind of crippling to not know how much work we're going to have to do after the release. And it also was problematic in that it caused CS tickets because we're behind several releases on those. So we actually changed up how we're doing it. We're pre-making everything. When you do the rewards, when you get your bonuses, like you get it right then. You don't have to wait 3 releases because, again, we got a lot of CS tickets on that. So anyways, there are a lot of reasons for why we change things up. And then we're trying to make sure we include stuff that is helps, like something for everybody, where we're trying to make sure there's like, maybe a pet. This is kind of the target for what we're going to have. This first one is a little bit rough because we had a lot of stuff to do and we didn't plan that far ahead for this change. But we are shooting for a pet, an emote, a wearable, and a deco. Again, trying to hit all the different groups. The only ones that might be cooler than that, that we might pull into that, would be occasionally swap out like a wearable for a weapon skin. But let's see. Oh, and yeah, let's see. Mojito, you're not back there, buddy. Where's Mojito? Nope. Yeah, Mojito, since I've moved into the new office at home, he stayed with me for a little while, but now he sleeps in the other office. I think he actually doesn't like my talking. So I just cover up his camera with my camera. So I don't have to be embarrassed about my poor puppy dog abandoning me. Let's see. Can we order chaos banners to hold the color set for them? Or maybe another version with the chaos as the default. Ooh, yeah. Oh yeah, those things. Those guys right there. Change. Yeah, it sounds like we should have a default. Again, this is one of those things we try to minimize the state that we save out between stuff. So That's why, like, if you leave your house and you leave a light on, you come back and the scene has been reset. Your light state won't be saved between them. It's the same thing, but again, we do have that tech. It should be trivial to do that. But yeah, the other easier option may be just to make a second version that has the other stuff on there. Oh, and there's the Mojito cam. Just pretend that's the real Mojito. Twofold silence. Pet strength does not raise pets' hit points right now. That is, so I knew what it was. I thought there was an easy fix for it. The fix is not easy, though. It's just the order in which things get applied and the order in which things get calculated. And if I move the order around, there's not a good way to shuffle it so the strength gets included in it but doesn't come before some other stuff. So that'll take a little bit of work. I did boost. Pets have lots of other stuff to add health, so I didn't worry about this time for taming. That is something that I would like to get on there, so when you raise your strength, health comes with it. But again, strength turns into DPS, which is extremely important for pets, and they have ways to get health from other things. Since this, I know there's a lot of people excited about the taming changes, as I was hearing people say that it feels like taming Christmas. We can put that on the calendar, add May 30th to your calendar as taming Christmas. But that was one of the many things on there that I wish I had more time for. Always wish I had more time. I did start my day at 2:30 this morning, so I'm 12 hours in. So if I sound a little crazy, that's probably why. Thank you, Snugs. But another thing that's on there that I meant to get in, that I'll try to get in for the patch tomorrow for the weekend, is a change to the focus cost for pets. For those who didn't hear, there were some things, the pet taming stuff, some of the skill levels were set using a feature that we don't use on any other skill, where instead of it being linear, it's exponential. So it is, rather than being a 1-to-1, you raise your skill 1 point, you get a level, or 1 point, you get a half a level every time. It was diminishing returns dramatically on that. So I changed that so it's actually linear, so you guys can get your pets to a higher level and it doesn't feel so unrewarding at the end. Because really, when you get down to the end, you're paying like 1 million experience points to get one more pet level because of the exponential stuff. But the thing with the change is, yay, pets can get higher level, which does impact their health and does get used in several other calculations for things. One of those calculations gets used in is for the how much focus it will pull off of your pool, how much negative focus it gives you. So where are the new tamables, not dragons? I can't tell you because I don't know. That is actually Sanyo and List and Beezus were all working together to get those guys in. But I actually do not know where they are. Yeah, so I will be adjusting the focus cost for things. I will be getting that in for you guys, and I'll get that in for a patch coming up. And thank you, Snugs, very much. Yeah, I'll get that so it's tuned down a little bit. Again, your pets are more powerful. It should be costing more, but it's a little too extreme right now. I'm seeing all the horror stories of people are like 20% or 30% focus. Kind of kills the whole, I'm going to let my pet do all the work for me and I'm just going to be the support guy for the pet, but you don't have enough focus to actually be support for him. So totally get that, and I will get that adjusted. I got to do some tuning on those things. For those who've heard me talk about it before, it takes 2 seconds to change things sometimes, and then it takes 10 minutes to test it. And then I have to test it 5 times. So something that should be a trivial fix, again, because we have some bad iteration time problems right now with Unity. Ends up being a much bigger fix than you would expect, or taking more time than you would expect. Because yes, I know it stuns you to hear that, but I actually test my stuff. At least I try to. Unless things get really crazy. Speaking of not testing your stuff, that is pretty much what happened with the first round of reward stuff that just went out. Was that basically got put in. Some things were forgot and were fixed last night at late hour by Burning Toad, who again gets the firefighter of the day award. In addition, doing all the builds, being the biggest firefighter on stuff. Everybody's doing their part, but he's the guy that usually will step up and do the things that no one else wants to do or no one else will claim ownership on. It's always those type of things on projects, things that people just kind of avoid eye contact with, and he's really good about doing those. Whose house is this? Sledge. Hey! John Marcus, thank you very much. It is either very late or very early there. I'm trying to remember which. That's probably very early. I think you're 13 hours. Is it like 4 a.m. or something? I forget exactly. And I'm guessing, John Marcus, that you are one of our helpful people who runs a torch seed for us. Because I was watching mine this morning when the patch was finishing up around like 3 o'clock in the morning. And I always check to see how many peers there are, to see how many people are downloading, see how many people I'm competing with to get the initial seed. And there were some people from your neck of the woods over there. We have more than one player from over there, but you're the super active one that I know, at least. Apparently, white marble ballroom is misspelled ballroom. Oh, raffle. Yeah, that's probably, let's see. Now I'm going to wait like 7 more minutes, and then I'll do a raffle right at 3. Hey, thank you very much, Frogtown Hero. Thank you. And yes, so Snugsy 1, so pet speed is working in your face. It just, other factors on it make it so it still sucks anyways. Actually, that's right. There's one thing I was going to look at here, tech-wise, that I can go look at. We had some problems with some items not being delivered this morning. There were some new items. Guess what that turned out to be? Someone checked in something, it wasn't working, but it's because it didn't get IDs, because we had a lightning storm here by my house, and our power went out here. And the power going out at my home address can actually cripple a build or break something in it. And that's because we have we have too many boxes to fit in our single data center over there, just because we're out of watts. And to upgrade the watts, they want us to add a full second cabinet rather than moving us from 20 amps to 30 amps, which is kind of silly. But anyway, so we were just one box over, so it actually lives at my house and it's upstairs. And apparently the UPS it was on decided it is not going to be you anymore. Not going to be uninterruptible. The box rebooted overnight and broke some processes that go through when we create items, because if you've probably seen me look at stuff on my screen here in Unity, which I'm gesturing at something you can't see, and you can't even see my hand where I'm gesturing, but everything in the game, because it's got to have ways the server needs to know how to communicate and got to be in sync with all the clients and all those things, so everything has kind of unique IDs that have to get generated for things, and that's obviously not something we want people typing by hand or something like that. But anyways, it generates unique IDs, and there's actually a process that goes through when you check stuff in. It goes through and generates all those IDs and replaces everything, gets everything set up. And that process runs on the box that is in my upstairs in my closet. But again, we could have it run on another box. It's not critical. We're just trying to spread out the power usage so we don't overload our data center in a bad way. And we can't really overload our data center. Everything up there is rated for like 6,000 watt power usage. They just have us on a meter for 2,000, so we try to stay under that. Let's see. Elrin Silvertree has not gotten just the silver. Was he 1, 2, 3? Maybe I handed those out by hand. I think I might have missed him. He should definitely get one. I'll try to get those out. I actually, now that I think about it, I think I had somebody texting me to send them the trophies, and they would send them out for me. So I'll try and do that here shortly. Why does it keep getting dark? What? I do set game time and it makes it rain? No, we're gonna go clear. There we go. It's always sunny. We actually have a dev command, always sunny, but it's kind of nice to have the time change a little bit. Let's see. Hoagie Boomer. Question: do mobs that use magic have attunement? They do not have attunement. They use their intelligence to kind of be the equivalent of their attunement. And then they also have magic resistance values to different schools. So we can set different things, to whatever makes sense. Make it rain. Waiting for you guys to make it rain bits on me or something. Oh, speaking of that, thank you very much, XXR Hardy. I'll see what weather override I can get. We'll do storm. It was a dark and stormy night. Snugs always make it rain. Thank you very much, Snugs. Let's see. What other stuff did we have? But anyways, I think that's why the pet today, why the disco duck, the disco mallard, is that what it's called? Not disco duck. Disco mallard. I think that's why the disco mallard didn't get delivered to people. Let's see, but yeah, we are trying to give some more controlled people. I don't think we're quite ready to do the hey, thank you. Thank you, Lancel. Thank you, John Marcus. But we are trying to give, again, sacrificing some immersion, but trying to give you the town owners more control over things so that they can make their town more how they want it. We haven't talked about doing it, let you make it always sunny outside or control the weather yet, but we may end up doing something like that. Another thing that we talked about was making a scroll that you could use that would change the weather, that would only work in a pot. You have a scroll or a potion or something that you could use that would change the weather for everybody in the scene. All right, I'm gonna have to pick a song here in a minute. Let me go ahead and do the first raffling first, and then while you guys spam the world with raffles, I will sing you a horrible song. Let's see, you guys ready? Everybody raffled up? Oh yeah, the moon tower, that'd be a good one. Here goes Flair. Yep, get that mute button ready. Closing and Braunfelt. Richard did not win. I regret to inform you. Richard did not win. Hey, Snugs, thank you very much. Let's see. Now let me do two things. First, let me go find... Okay, I got that going now. Let me find what's next up on the prizoning. I went through my mail this morning, got caught up on all the emails I think I owe. There were a couple of people I had questions that I emailed you back. But if I owed you something, it should be in your mailbox, or at least a question back to you on something. I will also apologize. There were some people who got t-shirts from last Tuesday. I still have not shipped. I have not gone up and done any shipping because I've been sad about the maps, but I will get those t-shirts out. There's only a couple of them. I think there's 2 t-shirts I have to ship out, but I'll get those guys out because I'm going to start shipping maps again. But don't be sad if you do not have your t-shirt yet. I did not sell it on eBay or anything. It will be coming. Let's see, featured. Oh, and there's a great news, I guess, ish, for you guys. Due to Burning Toad burning the midnight oil last night, the midnight toad oil. The vault, he clicked a button for the vault thing, but he added to the vault, and so I think there's like 27 vault items on here. This is not intentional, and it's not going to stay like this. I think this is probably fixed in this patch coming up. But if you missed anything from the last couple weeks, they're there for about another, I don't know, 4 hours or something until the next patch goes out. So, since those guys are there, ooh, you know what I'm going to do for the end? Ooh, let's see. Let's give out a Palace Cat. I'd seen these and I didn't know it was like a vault item. I always see these, they have the cutest dance. So let's do a Palace Cat. This noble and elusive feline is challenging to find. Yes, it is. But he has the cutest dance ever. Let me get the thing going there. You do. Palace's cat. Alright, it's open there. Come and get your cat. Alright, and then this one is for those who don't know, John Marcus tortures you guys daily by usually paying me to sing a song. Sometimes Sinash, Kazagal, or somebody else will join in and make me sing a second song. But for those who are not fans, you should raffle up and turn off your speakers for a minute, because I'm going to sing Jet. I think I've done this one before on live streams long ago, though. So 1, 2, 3, take my hand and come with me, 'cause you look so fine and I really want to make you mine. I say you look so fine and I really want to make you mine. Oh, 4, 5, 6, come on and get your kicks. Now you don't need money with a face like that, do you, honey? Big black boots and long blonde hair, and she's so sweet with her get back stare. Well, I could see you home with me, but you were with another man. Yeah, I know we ain't got much to say before I let you get away. Yeah. Da, 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 da. I said, are you gonna be my girl? Bump, 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 bump. All right, that's enough torture for you guys. You can turn the microphone on here. I'll give you the hand signal. It's safe. Earplugs off. Vocal training. You actually want me to sound good? That is not the purpose of me singing. If I thought with a lot of vocal training and a lot of practice, or even any practice, instead of me just like looking up a song that I've heard before and trying to sing it, if I thought that would actually be to a point where it would be enjoyable for the majority of the people and might increase my audience, I would get the vocal training. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think there's any amount of vocal training that's going to get me to people want to come hear me sing. I will forward you to Taiki's stream if you want that. I heard that Vespers is also a pretty good musician too. I'm sure we have lots of good musicians on the project, but they're the ones I know of. Has it rained enough? Let's see. Let me go. Ronan likes my singing. Awesome. And Richard, you probably haven't heard me say this before, but that's usually I try to sing. That's one of the things I'm trying to make sure I do with Maxine. Is when I was younger, I was shy and did not do stuff in front of audiences, and would be embarrassed about little stuff like that. I'm trying to make sure Maxine is absolutely fearless. So far so good. Doing good. Girl's name. I cannot pull you to the new dungeon yet. There's still some more tuning I want to have on it. And I'm going to be sneaking in the artifacts that are in there. I have not put the artifacts in there yet. I do have the boss fight stuff in there. I thought about pulling people in just for that. But I think it'll be better. I can get a better first impression if I wait until like maybe Monday of next week. The Monday night build is where I'll probably turn it on. For those who haven't heard, just because I am well aware that we lack high-end content, and that's something we're desperately trying to find time to fix. List is going to be making a map. Basically, he said, we looked at his schedule and we said, "You have a lot of stuff to do, man." And he said, "Yes, I do, and if I don't get to make a map, I'm going to go insane. I'm going to make a map next release." So he's going to make a map, so we'll see what of his other stuff gets pushed. And yes, for those joining late, Lord British Rules is actually Lord British. Is actually Richard. Somebody took the Lord British name. But anyway, so List will be making a map next release. He probably made a lot of your favorite maps from upper tiers to most of the fall. I started the fall. He made it not suck. And then also like Kroll and some of the other actually cool, amazing maps. Basically, if you have a favorite map, it's probably him. Blood Bay, some other cool maps. But anyway, so he's going to be making a new one next release. But for this release, I managed time. I did a couple of morning streams. I did 3 morning streams where I did nothing but work on a dungeon map while you guys watched, and talked about the mechanics and what the plan was and what parts I thought were cool and how to make it cool and all that jazz. And that will be going live. That's more of a tier 5 to tier 8. Like level 1 is supposed to be tier 5, but it's really rough for tier 5. And then the second level is tier 8, but that's really tough for tier 10 or tier 8. It's probably more like a tier 10 because there's some pretty nasty fights in there, and there's some new mechanics, including, if you watched the stream, you saw that I was trying to make sure the nav mesh, the thing that determines where creatures can go in the dungeon, is contiguous throughout the entire dungeon, that there's no breaks in it. And then the creatures that spawn all have no leashing distance. So, if you think back to the old days of trains, where people could train groups to the zone in or whatever, that can happen in this the new dungeon. The part that makes that cool on the second floor part is pretty much there's only 2 types of creatures down there: zombies and skeletons. And I'm probably going to sneak in a few slimes, just because I'm a fan of slimes. And I don't think we use them enough. I think we also need a cooler slime model, but that's an item for another day. What is going on there? But anyways, the zombies on it are a new type of zombie that don't exist elsewhere in the game. They're a higher tier zombie. They're pretty tough. They have an attack that does decent damage, but also drains focus. In other words, really annoying. But they move really slow. They move basically half the speed of a normal zombie. But they never stop chasing you. So once you get aggro from them, they will basically follow you until you die or they die. And it's, for those who haven't seen it, it's a giant maze. That's the catacombs level. The second level is the catacomb levels. The top level is the elf level. Yes, we need more puddings in game. And like the other reason I think we need more puddings in game, and I know Richard's in here and he absolutely agrees, but just need some more puddings with more pudding behaviors. And like, they're one of the easier art things. You do 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 do. Yeah, I don't actually know where the creatures are because those Beezus did them over the last couple weeks, but they didn't get them stuck in until like over the weekend, basically last weekend. And they said that it was, hey, thank you very much, Alpha Fish Stick. I'm down by the docks. Probably feel right at home watching our stream right now. There we go. This one's for Alpha Fish Stick. But Lost my train of thought. Oh, get him! Nope. Oh, I know what I was going to look at. I saw that weird shadow there, and I was like, what is doing that shadow? So that looks like it's probably... I don't even know how that happens. Stray deco in midair. Interesting. If this if they didn't have like traps and stuff out here, I might think it was by accident. I bet that was kind of by purpose. I think that was probably on purpose. Let's see who owns this one. Ah, Mythic. Someone's saying is Shield of Crystal broken? I don't think it is. Ooh, a dungeon. Let's see if they actually have a dungeon in here. What? You're not gonna let me in there? No dungeon? Lame. Alright, Mythic. Since you have no dungeon there, my next one I'm gonna give out is for the stream will be the 5 entrance minecart foyer thing. Yeah, I know. I've seen that happen before. I know it happens. I know you can also usually get them down with a little effort. They didn't make a little bit of effort to get it down. So I think they were probably pleased with themselves and left it. This is good. I can use the horns on my helmet as a sight, like a rifle. Right, blam! Alright, let me look for some more questions here. I miss having my question thing. Derpy David, I agree completely. He says one of the things he likes, I really enjoy about Shroud is the community, one of the most mature and nicest communities I've ever been a part of. Yep, and we push for that. I mean, we try to make sure it's a friendly community, but honestly, that's, I think just the audience that the game attracted, because obviously Lord British Rules is in here somewhere. We got a lot of people who were fans of old Lord British games who came to the game, which means that we basically ended up having an audience that was a more mature audience, both because they were older and also because they were into things like virtues and talking and reading and those type things. So it's not quite your, the same audience you would get with like a, I don't know, Black Desert or whatever, where it's a very savage audience. We are not savages. And I'm sure the Black Desert audience is totally fine. Hey, Noob Skybladder, thank you very much for the resubs. I like seeing the 2 X's, and there's actually a few with the 3 X's. Oh, there's a 3X from Alpha Fish Stick. Thank you very much, Alpha. And I promised somebody, we'll see who's out there streaming when we get done. I promised, I think it was Fizzle said, hey, thank you, Lord British and Pifester. Oh, and that reminds me, Richard, don't push these guys off. Don't put a bunch of money in there. Let the other guys do it, but we're doing the top, people in the top 10 will be getting a silver cloak if you're in the top 10 on the giving things. I'm not sure what program you're using, whether or not you can see what those are. But right now it looks like T-Branch is in the last spot, Scooby's in 9th, Ice Star Strider, Sean Butts. But the top 3 will get gold cloaks and the top 10 will get silver cloaks. Which I should probably wear those around in game. Show them off a little bit. Yeah, Ben Quinn saying, I don't think Shield of Crystal is working. That's surprising. I don't know of anything that would have changed on that. Let's see. Anakitos. Since questions do not work, I'll ask here, is it possible to make salvage patterns from one-time quest equipment as eternal patterns, or their quest repeatable? Uh-oh, Snugs has got a question apparently. Nope, just doing one bit. Usually people have a question when they do 1-bit to get my attention. Yeah, I'm not sure why we haven't done more of that to make more of that stuff patterns. I thought some things were already patternable. That is usually a Beezus thing. We're going to spread some of that stuff out because, again, he has not had a chance to get to the high-end crafting. I mentioned high-end content, but that's really the high-end PvE. Snugs, 1-bit, thank you. But he's been doing a ton of things. He helped a lot with the taming this time around. I didn't even know he was going to, and poof, out of nowhere, a bunch of high-tier tamed pets showed up that he hooked up. But he's usually the guy that would hook that type of stuff up, but we're getting more people schooled up on everything in the game so that more people can, help out, and we can be less what they call, in the games industry or any tech industry, they're pretty much anywhere, they call them silos, or silos where some people only know. Carnivon, thank you very much for the 99 bits. Now it's 100. But yes, we have, just like every game company out there and every tech company out there, development company out there, we've got a lot of people who are silos where they have some knowledge that other people don't share, which can be risky in case the dreaded getting hit by a bus. It's something we talk about a lot in the games industry. In tech industry, if so-and-so gets hit by a bus, I don't actually know of anyone who's ever been hit by a bus. There was one kid in Austin who got hit by a bus. It turned into a viral video. He was down at UT campus, and he was holding a foam sword and wearing a mask. And somebody was videotaping him, and he ran in front of a bus and got hit by a UT bus. He survived. Darwin did not win that day. But no developers I know have been hit by a bus. But anyways, we are trying to break up those silos and make sure more people are skilled up in doing other people's jobs. Because we do have a lot of times, and you guys have probably heard me say this, talking about like so-and-so isn't going to get it done because he's the critical path and he's got crazy amounts of stuff to do. So we're trying to make sure more people are schooled up on everything. Oh, nice. I think I have a tamed dragon. I think I've got a bunch of yellow tamed dragons. Oh, maybe I don't. Oh, that may have been on QA that I had the yellow. Yeah, that was on QA. I had the tamed dragons. I would test stuff on QA. If you guys saw me on streams testing on QA, and I kept going and trying to tame the Darkstar Corpion, and I would not... the Darkstar Destroyer Corpion, I mean. And I would tame it, and I'd be like, yay, I tamed it, yay, I got a Darkstar. And then, of course, I'd look on my necklace, and it would show a yellow dragon, a yellow baby dragon, which is not uncool. Uh-oh. We have a special treat. Hold on one second. Hold on. My doggy returned. Yay! Now you can look at his covered up puppy dog. There you go. Good job, Eric Rules. But anyway, so yeah, let me try and do my taming thing. Let's see if I can remember how this stupid taming thing works. Let's see, I gotta do that tame animal thing, and I gotta wear the right necklace. Oh, and thank you. Oh, a couple of names I don't see too often. Molly Jaw, thank you very much for the 100 bits, and thank you, Phoenix34. Let's see if I can remember how this taming thing works. And then I do the thing, and I get the other thing. Gotta get the taming thing on there. I gotta do a tame creature. I'm sure you all saw that the meteor shower is critting again. And I know people don't believe me, but it was critting before. It just wasn't showing the proper text color for it, and it didn't say crit. It just showed white, showed it like normal hit, but it was actually doing the damage roll for a critical hit. So your DPS wasn't destroyed. It just was confusing. Last release. Let's see. Summon. Oh, I'm gonna have to go find it. Hold on 1 second. I'll summon a Dark Star Destroyer so you guys can see what it looks like. You do. Oh, come on, Unity. Hold on, I'll put up. Oh, nope, that's the wrong one. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Okay, got it now. Hold on, I'm gonna summon one here. Summon monsters. Scorpions. Oh man, and I'm not in God mode. Okay, there we go. Ha! Take that. I don't have any taming collars. What? Snugs. I am pretty sure Snugs just asked if I can verify that the creatures are in game. I'm pretty sure they're in game. They were adding them in. Oh man, look at the Dark Star Destroyer hit points here. He's got 29,000 health. That's a pretty serious Scorpion. But they were adding them. I saw them adding them, and they were breaking things while they were adding them. That's usually how I know something's getting done, is because stuff is breaking. So I'm pretty confident they are in the game somewhere. I don't think they announced where, though. If you guys can't find them by next week, I'll try and get in there and help you identify the spot. Okay, so I gotta find a taming collar. Let's see. Collar. Tam. Hold on. Getting it. Hold on. Give me 1 second here. I'm trying to show off the cool pet thingy. It's totally gonna be worth it. Totally gonna be worth it. Add item. All right, now. Oh, less than 1% chance. So, these are all going to be things like the Obsidian Destroyer, where thank you Snugs, and thank you Snugs. But these are all going to be things like the Obsidian Destroyer, where you will have 0 chance. I was saying or less than 1%. When it says less than 1%, that's not like the Dumb and Dumber thing where you're like, so you're saying there's a chance. There's no chance if it says less than 1%, most likely. It says less than 1% even if it's 0 or negative. So do not be Jim Carrey. There is no chance if it says less than 1%. You need to improve something. For me, instead of trying to damage it, I'm going to go cheat, because I am a dev. Bypass trainers. I'm going to pull up my taming skills. And I think I gotta raise some of these guys. Gotta raise some of those guys. Let's just go ahead and go all the way up to like 200s on things. What actually helps in here? I think, oh, you gotta be a taming specialized. That's what I need. That's what I'm missing. Okay, so now, see if you only get your skills up to 200 here. Hey, thank you very much, Gravity. If you raise all your taming skills to 200 Snugs, look, it's a piece of cake. 56% chance. I didn't quite get them all to 200, but... Failed. And I'm sure, again, this Scorpion would be destroying me if... hence its name, Dark Star Destroyer. If I didn't have God mode on. Oh, and here's something that's sad. We noticed there's a bug that was actually causing things to on the live version or on the online version to have 10 more hit points than the offline version, and B fixed that, I believe. And so now you see Mojito used to have 14 hit points. Now he has 2. He's a very fragile little doggy. That's about how many hit points he has in real life, probably. Like you could step on him and squash him or something. Why am I not taming this thing? I'm going to have to go do a little more. I forget what the things are to get it up there. Let me try that. Okay, now we're up to 78% chance. Devil Cult 123, that is actually in the plans. He says, yeah, put an albino of creatures, but ultra rare spawns. That is actually, it's one of the things we've talked about, or I've talked about on streams before at least, is adding kind of a Pokemon rare collectible type thing, where it's basically the same creature, but it has a very different visual, which may be that it's bigger or smaller or different color, or has some VFX associated with it, or has some cool shader thing going on. But not for this release, but that is something that we plan on doing, and then just making them so like they spawn like 1 in 100 times versus the other guys. So most people just see them and kill them or whatever, but the tamers out there, that'll be the special treat, is that they'll get to catch the rare Pokemon. They can have the white scorpion. How do I keep failing? Soda math. Oh, you guys want to see some other soda math? I can talk about some more new feature stuff too. Falcon's Lantern question: is there a reason the R66 bundle bag doesn't drop in the offline mode? Probably due to how it was changed to be delivery, so it's actually like instant delivery on login versus showing up in a rewards bundle. I think if it went to the rewards, we were handling that case. We're probably not handling it for the other one. Let me go ahead and start failing on that guy again. Once I get this guy captured, I'll talk about the leaderboard stuff and some changes that are coming up for it. I know I need to damage a girl's name. I just cheated by turning up my skill so I wouldn't have to damage it. And I've got a 78% chance, and I keep failing, and people are laughing at me now, and they're going to start talking about soda math. Hashtag soda math. I'm going to start believing them here if I don't get it in a try or two. Oh, and actually, you know what? This may be not really tameable. We'll see if it goes away here in a second. It may not actually be tameable because it's a summoned by me. It's a fake summon. It's already a pet. So that may be what I'm doing wrong. I'm going to keep trying, though. Anyone know the definition of stupid? Yeah, that's kind of what I think. I think it would be succeeding, but it's a fakey GM pet. If you guys, girl's name and E-Hondas, if you're watching this, you're welcome to try and kill this thing now. It does have 30,000 hit points. It could be pretty mean. Maybe. I think when I did the fights between the creatures, I'd done one of my streams, I was summoning some of the pets and letting them fight, and I think the Dark Star Destroyer was actually the winner on at least a couple of them. Somebody tripped the Scorpion. That's quite impressive. But anyways, while we fight this thing... Oh, somebody pulled aggro. Could be trouble. Nope. Scorpions turn pretty quick. Yeah, I don't think that's going to work there. I think you're going to die. Yep. Oh, look, I got aggro back. Hey, Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Doo. Well, that's good. You're giving yourself a little buffer there. You're 9th place there. That's just got to stay ahead of T-Branch right now. And whoever will sneak in at the last minute to get T-Branch. But anyways, while that's going on, let's look at a new feature. There was another we'd been wanting to get something in, and this is actually more of the start of the system rather than this isn't the finished system. But getting leaderboards and coming up with a generic way so we can add leaderboard stuff in here. So this was really the start and came on a little bit rough, but again, we crammed in far more than we probably should have for this release. And that is the wife calling me to remind me that she is going to be picking up a baby soon and coming home. So I only got 30 minutes left in my stream, so I better wrap up some stuff here, including the next giveaway. Anyway, so now we have a system in place. So I need to give you some details on it. So one, you should only be showing up if you have your anonymous, if you have your public data set. So if you have your public data set, isn't that supposed to be up there somewhere? Oh, hide name from public stats. There it is. So if you hide your name, it will not show up in there. So it's kind of using the same rules as public stats. So if you do not want to be part of this, you do not have to take part in it. But this is for we have PvP kills, PvE kills in there. I was coming here to show some soda math. Oh no, did he fix it? Oh man. Alright, looks like he fixed it. This morning, or guess last night when I checked, the soda math was showing like somebody had like 20,000 kills. Here, let's try this. Maybe it was on 30 days. Oh yeah, here we go. Here's the soda math. 30,170 divided by 23. I'm not a pro at math stuff, but I'm pretty sure that is not 26,241. Hashtag soda math. Yes, I've already been harassing Bobby about it and giving him a hard time. So this window is... Whoops. This is up here. It's right in the middle. Leaderboards. There's no key assigned to it by default. Pretty sure that's not just a GM thing, that everybody can do that. So some more information on this. Again, this was really setting up the system and setting up the back-end processes to make all this stuff work. Largely managed by Undone, our data muncher. Something like that. Something to do with data. It's got to have a cool name, though. Oh, whoops. So you guys will not be able to find this. Apparently, our data muncher... Bobby, is that a good name for you? Can I call you Data Muncher? He says that it is only GM until the next patch. Whoops. I think he's still working on some stuff with it. So yes, so you guys will not be able to see that, but apparently that will turn off in the patch that we're building right now. Now go see if he says anything else in there. And he didn't know the kill to death ratio was broken. I'll have to go look. Hashtag soda math. But anyway, so yes, you guys cannot see this. I think there was some more tweaking going on. I know one thing, like yesterday, it was showing like everybody, and it was parsing like data for a while back, and it was showing people who had 0 kills and stuff like that. This one, I'm not sure where he's getting the data from, but like yesterday there were like 7,000 names on here, which is also not cool. So I think this is now parsing it down. He's doing something. It may just be the anonymous data thing, and a lot of people turned it off. But I can't believe we'd go from 7,000 to 200. I think there's got to be some other magic going on. But anyways, he's still working on it again. It's actually really cool in getting there, and we'll have a good system here. So eventually, this is just going to be filled with a bunch of stuff, so you can join in the stats. Because there'll be stuff like probably one of the next ones that'll come up will be like, hey, crafting. Who's got the most crafting, and we can even do some other silly things, trying to make sure we call out all the different types. Bobby says we lose a lot of data to that anonymous data stuff. So yeah, so apparently we going from public to anonymous only. I guess anonymous is off by, or it's set to anonymous by default. So you guys will need to change if you want to show up in these things. And I believe, according to Bobby, he will correct me if I'm wrong. They're discussing this now in chat. Apparently the team is watching me. I didn't know they were watching me. Yeah, it's anon by default. Yeah, that's the difference between 6,000 and 211 or whatever. These are the people who are brave souls and have turned on their stats. But some information on that is the way this data is parsed is Undone has a process that goes nightly and does a nightly kind of data grab and cull, just because it's not real-time updates, so don't expect to keep this up and see how many kills you've had. Yes, I know I'm on one day. There's more people if you go to more days, but still, it's a pretty small set of people compared to what the thousands we were seeing yesterday, which of course was also pretty unmanageable. But yeah, and Bobby, since you're watching, I can just talk to you. It looks like the one day the kill death ratio is fine. The 7 days, not fine. So somewhere in there. So as soon as you go past one day, I'm not sure what magic is going on and which part is messed up, but I'm sure you will figure it out. But anyway, so the process is set up so it runs nightly. So if you're thinking you can open this up and watch and race against the guy next to you, like, oh, Ginny Caesar has 3 more kills than me. Let me get 4 kills real quick and I'll pass him. That's not going to happen. It gets updated on a nightly process. To minimize that type of wackiness going on. Oh, and I forget who I thanked. Dulaine, thank you for the 16 raid. I forget if I thanked you. 16-person raid. You probably ought to be thanked multiple times, so thank you. And Vahadar. I always try to read names backwards, too, to see if there's something interesting. That is not a backwards name. Vahadar, thank you very much for the follow. But anyway, so this gets generated nightly. So right now we could probably handle like updating it far more often than that. Only a 30-day query back. I do those queries all the time, and it takes 10 seconds or something like that on the database. It would be a lot of churn though, but the bigger thing is right now we have 2 categories in here, but this is set up so we can more easily add stuff. So you can expect to see stuff like, so we try to hit all the different types of players out there. We can start doing things like we could even do something speaking to the tamers. We could even do something like show the players with the most tamed pet kills, like their pet has killed the most people, and put that as a category up here. Do one that shows the total amount healed by people. We could do one that shows the total distance traveled by people. Again, some of these obviously are not as useful as PvP kills, but actually Apple Rustin has a much better system in his, and he wants to actually talk about putting some of his data into this system as well, so we can look into that as well. Right now it's set up to be generic and pull from ours, so it's not going to happen in this release, obviously. But again, we'll start populating this section over here. This is left as a big area because guess what? Hopefully we're going to get a lot more stuff going on in there. And it looks like right now, guys, Demeron is the guy to beat. Girl's name? I don't know, not so hot there, girl's name. Let's see how you're doing on the 7-day. Oh, there's girl's name. Oh, only 3. Okay, so you didn't keep going. That's why I always try to remind my wife. I used to play some pretty competitive sports. Played college racquetball and played some professional and played tournaments all the time. That's why I had to always remind myself. Because when you play in a tournament, if you get knocked out in the first round, like half the people in the tournament get knocked out in the first round. So half the people, like there has to be some people there. It's like you can't have these guys like that. That's pretty impressive. I think that is a sitting in the basement killing a friend right there, 177 to 0. Anyways, to quote the immortal lines from Caddyshack, world's got to have ditch diggers. There's got to be losers out there. Yeah, that's. I don't believe it's tameable if a dev summons it. Oh, did we kill it? I guess they killed it while I wasn't paying attention. Oh, I was gonna do the giveaway thing now because I only got like 30 minutes or so to wrap up. Yehondis. Snugs, you want to try? It will. Snugs, on the plus side, you'll be able to see the chance to summon or the chance to tame. I think that is accurate. But it was doing like the chance of like 78%, and then it would turn green like I got it, and then it would keep kicking my butt. Here we go. I'll see if I can hold aggro. Of course, if you're going to have any chance at all, you're welcome to come up behind it and try and tame it, Snugs, but it's probably going to be like less than 1%. And like I was saying earlier, this is not, don't do the whole Dumb and Dumber thing. Oh, 11%. You are a beast, apparently. But yeah, if it says less than 1%, that's really 0. Gonna fight the good fight. You're going down, Scorpion boy. Oh, Corpion boy. See if I can hold aggro off these guys. I'm gonna guess no. But let's see. I need to do the raffle thing, so make sure and raffle it up. This is for a Palace cat. If I'm saying that right, Palaces. I always have this problem too. Is Chris? And it's Chris's because it's optional. You can do Chris with a S apostrophe and then leave the other S off, or you can do apostrophe S, but it's always confusing. But if you put the extra S on there, then you feel like you have to pronounce it. Palaces. All right, I'm calling it. Closing it. Oh, and I didn't ship the last guy's thing. I hope he remembers to remind me. Send me an email, last person who won, that I didn't get their prize to him because I was distracted. Here we go. Ian999. You, sir, are victorious. I'm sure the tamers know, but I think it's if it maxes out if you get down to a quarter health. Oh, they tripped the scorpion again. What do you have to do, like trip 3 legs, get a scorpion to fall down? 3 legs or 5 legs? I think you gotta do 3 legs. You gotta get all the legs on one side to trip it. Or if you do the front 4, I guess it could fall on its face too. Oh, 23%. But anyways, that's what you're gonna be up against. Is a scorpion that's hitting for 100 points of damage, 200 points of damage, with 30,000 hit points, and you got to beat it down while you're trying to tame it. So, not something you probably want to do alone. Although, if someone wants to go try and tame one of these solo and make a video of it, that will be most impressive. But I honestly don't know where these live, so. If they didn't put the spiders, I don't know where they put the spiders either, but if they haven't put the spiders somewhere, I'm going to go make sure and sneak in a few of the spiders as random baby spawns at the Spider Queen. I think that'd be fun, because then it's like you got to, like, some people are in there trying to kill everything or not kill the babies, and you're in there trying to tame the thing. You got like 19 other babies around there harassing you, and the mama spider there. I think that'd be fun. And yes, I have learned Let's see. Going back to read, see if there's any questions. Oh, let me figure out what the next prize is going to be. I said I'd do a minecart dungeon next. Let me do that one next. Palace. I wish, is there like a mailbox around here somewhere? Anybody know where there's a mailbox? I'm sure they're fine fighting that scorpion by themselves or that corpion by themselves. Gotta be a mailbox around here. Do 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 do. Dun 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 dun. All right, well, Ian, I'll have to get yours to you. I think it is Ian, not Lane. Some of these people do the weird lowercase, uppercase thing just to fool you. But let me do the 5 exit minecart, the minecart reset thing there. Ian is a multi-time winner, though. Minecart dungeon, minecart foyer. There we go. We'll do one of those, and I'll actually, we got, since it's a release day and you guys are awesome, I will do 2 more prizes here before I have to get off. So we'll do this one, then I'll do one more after this. Oh, I'm trying to now. Got to scroll back and find the previous question from somebody. Oh, I missed my question thing. These are all there and stored, and I don't have to worry about scrolling back. Hoagie Boomer, follow-up question. How does that multiplier calc you put up the other day apply to PvE mobs? So they will have a calculated magic resist, or not magic resist, but attunement. They'll have actually it's just they don't have an attunement, they have a resistance portion of it. So they'll have something on there. It's usually just calculated, and it depends on what it is. Obviously things like, hey, guess what, undead has crazy death resistance, and fire elementals have crazy fire resistance, and all those obvious ones. But then there's also a lot of things have just kind of an innate, like elves have a pretty decent magic resist versus kind of everything. And I'm trying to remember, I think they have, there's strong magic, that gets confusing when we say that. There's strong magic resist, but not strong elemental resist. So they're strong versus sun, moon, life, death. They're strong on those resistance, but they're not strong on magic resist or elemental resistance. So like fire, water, earth, air. It gets confusing because I call them all magic resist, but really when I refer to, I'll sometimes say elemental versus magic, and those are kind of the two, you know, whether it's on the vertical, horizontal, or whether it's on a diagonal. Elementals are on the diagonals. Magic is on the horizontal verticals. But anyways, yeah, so those they have some number that will be calculated for them, and then that just gets thrown into the formula. And usually it's a multiplier. Sometimes it's just their level times something, but their intelligence gets put into it a little bit, but it varies by creature. Some things are very not resistant. When you're early in the game, almost nothing has magic resistance. It's really only when you get up to the higher tier stuff. Yes, Mojito's down to 2 hit points. We can look at the stats for Mojito. Let's see, he has a 1 intelligence. That's about right for Mojito back there. He's a very loving dog, but he is not the smartest dog. 1 adventure level. Yep, that's all pretty good. Now I'm getting no caller IDs. I do not answer no caller IDs. Oh, he's got 94 focus. Let's see. I'm going to get back over here and answer a few more questions. I'm going to jump out of here. I'll go to my mailbox so I can start emailing some of these things out. Do. Going down. Vahadar, yeah, there's oh, what's the place called? I forget the Soda Links place that he manages all the links so nicely. Skeggy? Somebody will tell you where it is, but yeah, there's a bunch of stuff on that. I'll give you my quick brain dump on things. There's a lot of different strategies, so again, I am not the best guy for making decks. I'm just the guy that designed it all and made it all and did that stuff. But the reality is that playing the game, you guys have played a lot more of the game than I have. I wish I had tons of time to do, but I've already made 10 excuses this time around, or this stream. I do not have enough time to play. But in terms of deck making strategies, there's several. You can get faster throughput with skills if you aren't using locked, but you kind of have to stack a bunch of things together with it. The big thing is looking at, you kind of also have to pay attention to some card logic. There's a few crazies out there who go with the initial design I had 4 or 5 years ago, that I've gone over how I came up with that design. It was basically to satisfy like an impossible number of things that needed to be true in the combat system. This is kind of what I do is more often than not is I'll use a couple of slots where I know I want to have a lot of buffs or debuffs that I'll drop on people, and I'll usually just make a stack of them and put them in there so that they come up randomly, and I just always know if I see that up, I can always hit it and it'll probably be a different debuff that I've had before. This is actually a buff stack. But you can see I've got a bunch of things piled in there. Just like one rune, so they just come up occasionally. I don't have to think about it. If you are not lazy like me, you'll probably do something where you'll actually have a buff deck set up that is basically before you go into combat, you can swap over the deck, buff up, swap back. I'm lazy though, and I just like to, I'm not completely concerned about the most optimal playstyle, but again, those guys are, the people out there are way better than me, and they'll have better decks or better deck building tutorials. But again, I try to have. This is one of the patterns I use a lot, is having the first two be a lot of skills that come up quick, and then I'll have an AE in here. This is trying to do a bludgeon deck. Usually, I'll have my 4 stack as a stack of debuffs, and my 5 stack as a stack of buffs for me. 6 is where I'll put I put my healing touch. Usually I'll swap that out with the heal over time. Whoops. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. But I'll swap that out with heal over time. But this one I just have healing touch. I'm not sure why I went with that route. And that's just because the 6 is a really convenient key for me. And I do use the keypad or the keyboard. And then when we get up into 7, 8, 9, 10, those are kind of utility spells I use once in a while. But again, a lot of it comes down to card mechanics, and you can't stuff if you throw 100 glyphs in there. Anybody who's played a collectible card game like Magic the Gathering or something, you make a deck that has way too much stuff in there, you never get what you really want. And that's kind of the same thinking with this as well, as if you get what you want. Some of the other mechanics that are probably not obvious is when you use one of these guys, it has a cooldown that it will basically be out of the deck for some amount of time, and then it will get put back into the deck randomly. So it's not actually a stack, and that it's set up. And if I use this one last, and I've got 20 cards in the deck, once I go through 19 cards, I know that one's going to be there. That's not how it works. When it gets pulled out of the cooldown and put into the deck, it actually gets put into the deck in a random space or random spot. And that's to prevent, you could just get if you have 20 things, scan for, just try and get my attention, somebody try and get my attention. Oh, the mob is attacking. Well, let me wrap up some thoughts on the deck stuff here. But anyways, and then I'll get back to and answer the correct way. The thing you actually asked. But, so they do... let's see. So, it does get put back in the deck, but it only goes back in the deck after the cooldown. The cooldown for locked skills is actually half the time of what it is for an individual skill if it's not locked. Now that sounds worse, but you can put up to 5 of these in there, so you can it's actually 2.5 times faster. You can cast 2.5 times as many in the same amount of time as you could with a locked, theoretically. So I always talk about apples to oranges. It's one of those things that this is something that evolved from player feedback, but it is very much locked versus unlocked, and the mechanics of deck building and all that, it's very much there's no perfect way, and that's kind of what I've always wanted. I want to make sure there's not here is the perfect deck, because as soon as there is here is the perfect deck, which right now is all ranged. Sorry, keep working on that. But anyways, once you have here's the perfect deck, everybody has to play with that. It's the same reason that tamed pets have traditionally been weakened versus other stuff. Is as soon as tamed pets is like you're most powerful when you have a tamed pet, guess what? Everybody has to have a tamed pet. Dark Blue Monkey, and I'm talking about some stuff here in mechanics, but you will get a lot better, like more specific strategies going and watching some of these videos. Not just because they know more, but also because they've like thought out what they're going to say on their video versus me just randomly answering questions here. Hoagie Boomer. So what it actually uses for its attack, your resistance and your attunement does get used for most things. Right now, I've got a bug open. There's some places where it is not properly being used. I will be getting it to the point where it is properly used. Right now, there was an old resistance system that was pretty hacky compared to the new one, inflexible. And the new one is much more flexible, but there's still a few creature effects, a few of those stupid fireball effects that things throw, like skeletal mages, and a few of those other things that do not properly use the resistance. But again, I've got a Jira open. It's still on me. I've got 11 open Jiras on me right now, so that is one of them. 11 open Jiras for this release that I've not pushed to the next release, so that gives you an idea that it is something I intend to take a look at and try and fix for this release. Yeah, definitely go to learn deck stuff. One is you got to play a lot, and that's kind of the other thing is I don't force it on people. It's not a mechanic we force, but that is you can actually get some better builds if you're willing to build a deck that uses at least some dynamic. Again, there's some people out there who play with the purest deck of like every card in there gets dealt out. To me, that's crazy town and exhausting. Is kind of where that came from. Is I do believe it's something that you can get a more powerful deck doing that if you really are good at it, but it takes a lot of time to get good at it, and it's like, physically exhausting to pay that much attention, or mentally exhausting at least, to pay that much attention to stuff going on down there. The other thing is it pulls your eyes off of combat more than it should, if depending on how you have your deck laid out. Again, the thing I shoot for is I don't want to have to look to know what's in a slot, because I can, while I'm fighting in combat, I can totally tell if there is something in the slot, and like, again, it's easy to see with the peripheral vision if you're fighting something. Take that, and that. It's easy to see if a slot is filled, and then because I have it set up so I know 1 and 2 are always quick attacks, and 4 is always a debuff, and 5 is always a buff, and so I basically work off of that. I know 1, 2, 4, 5 is usually what I'll have for my dealt, but all I'm looking for is I'm trying to set up the design so I just have to know if there's a card in there to press. And that you can do pretty easily just with peripheral vision. And I've seen other people who do some stuff like they move their bars up to make it even easier when they're fighting, so they can, it's really easy to pick up with your peripheral vision if you do that. But again, yeah, just trying to get it to the point. You want to have a deck designed so, at least my strategy is not someone who can spend dozens of hours practicing with a specific build. But my design is basically set up so I know 1, 2. I know these buttons are always what I press to hurt somebody. These are what I press to debuff them if it's going to be like it's a tougher fight. If it's trivial fight, then I probably a couple hits and I'll kill them or whatever, and don't even think about it. And then also for buffing myself is another one for longer fights. And then keeping a heal on a locked one. But again, you go look at their strategies. They will They will tell you lots, and that is another thing when you're looking at something. Some people do like to they keep their random cards to an absolute minimum, which is part of where the specialization comes in. That's one of the things it gives you if you're specialized in something, is you can get a 6th glyph for a skill, which can be a big deal if you're trying to build your deck around, like I'm going to have these 3 skills and I want to use them all the time, and I'm only going to have like the bare minimum number of 25 cards or whatever in my deck, so I know that there are 18 out of 25 of the cards in there. But yeah, definitely go watch some videos, and again, practice, even if it's on training dummies. Practice on training dummies. If you're doing melee combat, again, moving around is a huge deal, so practice that. Should I end the rain? I think I set it to rain here. It's probably going to stay rainy until I unoverride it. Oh, no dungeon on this one. Surprise dungeons, Kazar's the dungeon man. He's probably got all of his pieces used on other giant dungeons. Alright, I'm going to do the set weather override clear. Alright, it is after 4, and let's see. Oh, let's see. Am I caught up on things? Yes, I think I thanked Dark Blue Monkey already. Thank you, Dark Blue Monkey. But let me do. I'm gonna do a quick giveaway now. I'll do the minecart dungeon giveaway. I'm gonna go ahead and head to a place where it's ugly, but I have some access to a mailbox and dev crap to make it easy to give you guys these things. No, don't worry, Tazar. I won't leave the rain on permanently in your town. And Flare would kill you. Would that be in-game or in real life? Or both? Let's see. Ian gets the cat, I think. The palace. Palace. Grats. I forget the first guy, but he's going to email me, I think. What was I going to give? What was the first one I was giving away? Oh, I was doing the Village Stone basement. Looks like that person has now mailed me. Hopefully they're not pranking me. Stone Dungeon Arena? No, 5 stories, wood and something. Alright, maybe I didn't buy it. It was that thing. Village Stone Arena basement. Now I'm gonna have 2 of them. Yep. Grats. And now I'm going to do this last giveaway, so I hope you have all raffled while I was babbling along. Babble, 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 babble. Reminder, tomorrow is the last day of the month. It's also a Friday, so we will be doing a Friday stream. We will be showing off some house stuff and just doing the usual routine for Friday, but we will have one difference, which is, I think right about now, Star is probably somewhere over the Atlantic Ocean on a plane, taking his yearly vacation that he does once a year. So he will be out this week, and I think he's out next week. He might be back the week after that. But I am not entirely sure. And the wife is calling me again. I'm guessing that means there's a kiddo in the car with her. But I'll look at that in a minute. But anyway, so Star will not be on the stream tomorrow. It'll be me and List and Sanyo and Undone. Maybe I can get somebody else to get on the stream. You guys, we got like only a third of the dev team actually gets on the streams. We have a fairly social dev team in general. Oh, thank you very much, T Branch. Uh-oh, a little bit of competition going on. That's good. We'll see how it goes. I'm both excited and worried about tomorrow night, in that there may be a lot of competition and some people getting mean about trying to be in the top 10. Maybe you guys should come up with some deals and like shake hands and come up with a gentleman's agreement. But anyways, but yeah, so I'm going to try to get some more people on there. We've got a pretty social team, but they still don't like being on camera. So maybe I can get Burning Toad or somebody else on. Burning Toad's one of the guys who actually plays quite a few games and is good for gaming feedback. Or Lord Subtleton. You guys, I don't even know if he's ever been on camera. Maybe once or twice ever. Scotty. So Scotty is great on camera, but he's not great on the tech side of the camera stuff. I need to get like to his house or something, get him set up if he's going to join in on camera. Lord British is back. He was in chat. I don't see if he's around here anywhere. And thank you, Scooby-Doo. Thank you. That's good as people jockey for positions there for the last day. Try and get Silver Cloak. Lord British was on the stream earlier. For those who also missed it, since I'm up to, 170 viewers. Probably just because it's a release day. Normally hit about 160, 165 or something by the end. But he was on the stream earlier, talking with people. And the other big news I had that I gave to him on the air, because he hadn't heard this either, was Dale of Elad's Lighthouse. Dale backward Elad. Dale found the maps that Richard signed last time he was down. So for the last 3 weeks or so, when people have said, "Hey Chris, can you send me a map or send me my box?" I've said no, I can't unless you want to have a map that isn't signed. But he found them. They are not moldy according to him. They are not faded by sun or anything like that, and they're in good shape. And I will be picking them up on Saturday. I drive over to his house. He's on the far side of Austin. But Maxine and I will be going on a quest to retrieve the maps. And so next week I should be able to start shipping again. So, yay! But Richard hadn't even heard that. He didn't know that Dale couldn't find the maps. Let's see. They Ehonis, I do not believe they got soggy. If it did, I may have to wash them or something, but I think it's they'll be fine. Dale said they seem totally fine, so I think he would have mentioned if they were covered in black mold. Atos, for the moment, are there any new arts in game? Any new ancient dragons? I don't know about the ancient dragons. Again, tomorrow night I'll be adding a dungeon that is, or not tomorrow, over the weekend I'll be doing the final, getting it ready and playing through it myself a few times more. Pass on the new Tartarus dungeon and getting it in for next week. It does not have any ancient dragons. Right now it has elves that go from tier 5 to probably tier 10 or 12, if you include the boss in it. And then it's got some, the second level is got about 100 zombies on it. But the zombies will be dropping a unique item that will probably be you got to kill like 100 zombies to get it. And that you got to kill like 100 zombies and collect 100 pieces and then craft it into it. That's one of the changes I wanted to make this weekend before it went live. That is, I mentioned it before. Since I mentioned it before, I'll go ahead and say it again. It's a zombie skin belt that is for necromancer death magic guys. That has death attunement and some unique bonuses for undead. Including it gives summoned undead the chance to drain life on a hit. Which of course for undead that slowly die, that's actually a pretty cool thing for them to have their own drain of life. So like your skeletons and your lich can start getting drain life and refill their own health. So That's right. We need to do the raffle. Let me do the raffle right now because I'm going to get another. I'll do one more small raffle after this in the last 10 minutes or so before the kiddo gets home. I'm going to close this one and pick a winner. Legion Myth. Yes, that is exactly who I would want to win. That's good. I'm telling you, it's good karma, man. Legion, just tell me what account you want me to send it to. You deserve it. All right, just Elgariana. Got it. Coming up. Wait, where's the... Did I not buy it? No, I guess I didn't buy it yet. Hold on, let me go buy it in the store. Mine. Not yours, but mine. And Elgarion, if you can use it, don't do it at all. But you are also welcome to regift this. You will not hurt my feelings if you regift this on your stream. Regifting is allowed. But if you can use it, definitely put it down there. It's a good... I mean, even just put it in there by itself, it makes a fun space. Even if you don't build out a big dungeon. Alright, so I'll do one more quick giveaway here, because again, the wife is going to be home, and I'll only have about 10 minutes. We'll do something... Don't want to do that one, because it's got... takes a water lot. Maybe a black squirrel. Lord British fur collared cloak. Since Lord British was on the stream here, I'll give away one of these guys. Lord British cloak. Bam. Alright, I'll let you guys spam away on that stuff. Scooby-Doo, where are you? It looks like position 1, 2, and 3 are pretty solidly in place there. Alright, let me see if I got any more questions going on. Nope, thank you very much, Dark Blue Monkey. You like your questions being answered, I think. So Hoagie Boomer, there's some math. I'll tell you what, I don't have time to dig it out today, but I'll dig out that math for you next time. But there's some math in terms of how their intelligence is basically replaces what is normally the attunement. But your resistance does help versus most of them. And again, there's a couple of really old attacks that I need to go take a look at and make sure that they are properly using attunement and resistances and all that. From the creature side of things, on PvP side of things, it's definitely being used properly. And you versus creature is definitely being used properly. It's just the one that I know is questionable is their attacks from old creatures, like some of the first creatures we made, versus you. Make sure that they're on the correct resistance system. And I do have a Jira for that, and I will not be ignoring it. But let's see. Waxman007. So that's one of the things we've actually talked about is, again, what to do with the attunement. Because, again, that was not a great design. That was kind of the compromise in that we wanted to make it so... we wanted to give players a system where they didn't feel like they had to just, like, madly grind endlessly. And then we had some scenes that were way out of line. Like, some were making 5, 6, 7 million experience points an hour if done just right. And if you think people, like, live in upper tiers or wherever now... imagine back then, it's like that's all anybody did was like, let's go do the control point. And so we worked on ways to tune it so it didn't give as many experience points. But then that ends up being less fun a lot of times. You either, basically turn into a lot of slowing down spawn times, which has other side effects. So then the attenuation is kind of what we came up with, was we wanted to let you guys have as much fun as you want to, and then not do it. So there's a misconception that if you are attuned, you aren't getting experience. You are still getting experience. You just get it at a lower rate. It'll drop to, like, it's not a flat, you hit your attunement and you're done. It actually continues to curve up. I've seen players get in the range of like 1.4, 1.5 million per hour with attunement. So that is, again, it doesn't immediately fall off. It tapers off. So don't feel like just because you hit your attunement, you have to stop. But that is one of the things we've talked about is, again, what scenes we can do to go and like set the attunement to be different values depending on the scene. So we can have things like, hey, maybe episode 2 is everything in episode 2 is 2 million attunement. Maybe PvP scenes are 1.5 million attunement. Let's see. But yeah, just know that it's not a system I'm super happy with. And again, we continue to look for better ways to handle that without making things. And it's not that we don't want, we're trying to say that you should only get 1 million experience points per hour. Well, the problem ends up being that it's already this thing that's still in there for, still a problem, is like for upper tiers and other places. There's, we don't want to force players to, like, you can only play in this scene because this scene generates the most experience points more than any others. So that kind of levels the playing field, so you're not just looking at experience points, because not everybody wants to play just in that one super repetitive space. They want to have the opportunity to go adventure other stuff or other places. And technically for that, like if we lowered the attunement more, that would actually encourage players playing other places other than upper tiers. But we're not going to do that. We are looking at other options, though, to improve things. But just know that if we turn up the experience to 2 million attunement, whatever that scene is, that's where people will live. It is really, it's one of those things that has shocked me in terms of psychology. Coming into this project, I've got, I had more than 20 years game experience and more than a dozen shipped games coming into this project, and involved with a lot more games than that. And that's been the one big learning thing for me on this project has been the understanding players' psychology, because it really is, if like you give them, there's A and it's fun, and then you have B and it's not as much fun but gives you 10% more rewards. B every single time. Almost every single time. Gray Fox Soda put in a limit on levels. That's another thing that we've talked about. That was actually, if you guys remember, for a while we talked about doing kind of a soft reset when you went to episode 2. That was going to be part of that plan, was doing a soft reset for episode 2. So when you went over there, you basically started, like, your character was there, but you didn't get to bring over your skills or whatever, and you had to re-skill up on that when you were reborn in that side. And that was actually going to be one of the things, but we kind of threw that down. We have some other plans in place. Yeah, power creep, there's, for those who haven't really paid attention, that's kind of how most MMOs handle it. But we have some design choices that were made that we could still reverse, and maybe just reverse them at a high tier. But if you look at other games, one of the things is they force you, here's the treadmill, you need to get it on here, and you must walk for 12 hours to get from, this point to the next point. And if you are at this point, you cannot beat content at this point. And that's basically just continuing the stair step up in terms of power. And that is why a lot of other games have it so if a creature is more than 3 levels below you, you don't get rewards from it. If it's more than 3 levels above you, you have 0 chance on it. They want you to stay on your step. Do not go up to the next step, and do not go down to the step below you. They want to force you on that step, and that was not something we wanted to force. Yeah, and EverQuest did a pretty good job. They did have the same problem, though, that if something was, 10 levels above you, good luck, player skill isn't going to make the difference, or a good designed skill set isn't going to make the difference. You're just not going to win. Guild Wars actually does something a little interesting as well. That's something that we have thought about as well, and actually put in the game as well, which is that if you're too high level for a scene, it lowers you down to be the level of the scene. But again, there's lots of different things on there, but just know that's part of the whole power creep, and that's what they have is like if you have it on very sharp limits of what you can attack above and below you, you know, what you can gain benefits from or beat, you know, that helps some with the power creep in terms of setting some hard limits there, and you can, you know, at the top level, here's exactly what they can have. Our system is very open, and it does make that whole design challenge a lot more difficult. That is part of why, I mean, I'll be the first to admit there's a lot of imbalances in the game. Continue to get better, but also things kind of shift around, and sometimes it's kind of interesting because some things become more powerful even though they don't become more powerful, but it's just because some players figure out some strategies that no one else has figured out yet. Yeah, we want players to be able to play with each other, you know, whether they've played, you know, 10,000 hours or 10 hours. We want the guy with 10 hours to be able to tag along with his buddy. And we also don't want to force the grind on people, although then they'd still go and grind. Let's see. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in there. I mean, I'm well aware of all the different things in the same way they level up gear, which again is pretty well documented and known and can be cool, but it's also frustrating in another way, which is they pretty much force you to change out your gear, you know, every 5 to 10 levels as well, and the gear is also very tightly tied to those things. And then, like, if you look at a game like WoW, where they pretty much just have it down to an absolute science in terms of that stuff, that they have it where you basically, like, you have tier 1 gear, you cannot, you know, beat tier 2 stuff until you have tier 1, and this is really at the raiding level. Like, everybody in the team, everybody in the group or in the raid needs to have mostly tier 1 gear or better if they're going to kill stuff on tier 2 to get tier 2 gear. And then once you have that and get the geared up, and then you got to get geared up on the next one. In the old EQ days, they had a little bit of that, but it was a lot more willy-nilly in terms of how they balance things, and they ended up doing things a lot more restricting access with keys, if anybody remembers. Anybody else out there go through the get keyed for Vex Thal? Anybody? Vex Thal? Anybody go through that keying process? Right here? I did. Nightmare. But they kind of use keys for a lot of that stuff too. They didn't have as strict rules for, like, you know, they didn't have the math down to super strict like WoW has it, but yeah, Vexthal, in case people didn't know, that was that the 3rd or the 4th expansion? But that was the one where they basically just kept turning up the health of creatures, and so they were like, this is the one where it went in, it's like, oh look, these guys in Vexthal have like 1 million hit points. New Vexthal? I didn't even know there was a new Vexthal. Lucelyn, yeah, that's right. I didn't know if it was Lucelyn or Lucklin. But anyways, old EverQuest days. Oh, Mojito's poking his nose out. Well, he's not barking yet, so he's not jumping around with joy, so the family's not home yet. But I do need to wrap things up here pretty quick. And I'm staring at a wall, which is the most boring content ever. Let's see. I guess I can't. Let's see. Hold on. I'm going to go try and summon. Let me do this real quick. Hold on. Let me put this on. Put you guys on hold for a second. She'd called 3 or 4 times, and usually that means there's something bad going on. Got a car problem. Need help with something. But no, she was just bored. But yeah, let me go over here and let me go to the combat hub. I think Beezus did the responsible thing and added all the creatures to the combat hub so we could actually test with them. Oh, we still have the nav mesh issue. That's not a big deal, though. And if you guys saw me do the yellow dragon tame and get the yellow dragon, that is because there's... we had pushed the client for QA, but we had not pushed the server report since he added in the creature. So they were in the client, but the tame versions of them were not in the server report yet. So we had to push the server report, and then everything started working. Let's see. Let me see if I can go get this Dark Star Destroyer. Doop, doop, doop. Yeah! I'm gonna ride the Scorpion. Yeah! Take that, Scorpion. And you see him doing weird stuff right now. That is because the nav mesh in here is kind of screwed up. Oh, you failed to tame a creature. Let me try that again. Do 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 do. Dun 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 dun. And this one may not let me tame him. Ah, he did let me tame him. And I got the yellow young dragon again. So I did get the other ones. I wonder if there's something just wrong with that one. Because the other ones I came and I got the, I did the Razorback Destroyer. I'm a dummy. I know I came and tested this guy and he was working. So maybe there actually is one broken and it's just still the Dark Star Scorpion. And again, he's running in place because there's no nav mesh here. Alright. Moment of truth. Okay, so it is just the Dark Star Scorpion. So the Dark Star Scorpion is still broken. I will let B know so he can get that fixed up. Let's see though. I think let me look for one last question here. Holy cow! Played EQ since April 0. Yeah, I played it from like the day it went live. I was doing EQ and UO back in the day. But yeah, I quit a while back. I quit after I played Planes for a while and then took a break. And that was kind of at the point where everything was again keyed. And if your guild got keyed and you weren't there to get keyed, it was really tough to go back and get them to get you keyed. Let's see. Let me tell Beezus about his Dark Star Scorpion. Okay, now I told him about that stuff. Let me see if there's any more questions here, and if not... let's see. Yeah, that's a good idea. Let me do that real quick before we go. I can go and see what the creatures are, what's been tamed. Lupine, I might try. Lupine, Destroy, is that it? Okay, I can go and search and see if any of these creatures have been tamed in the wild yet. Obviously, Obsidian Destroyer has. Is Polar Destroyer. Let's see if anybody's had anything to do with one of those yet. Maybe I can reveal the first person to kill one. Hold on, let me narrow my window down to 12 hours. That looks good. 1 second. So these have not... No one has done anything to a Polar Destroyer, which means that it probably isn't spawning, or else you guys would have killed one. Let me make sure I'm getting the right string in there. Yep, because there's the T-15 bear, so maybe the top bears aren't done yet. Then maybe I do need to check. Let me check the Razorback Destroyer. Nope. Oh, ring just went off. That means the wife is probably home. So yeah, so it looks like the first two I checked there are not showing up in any log. I will have to double check with the Beezus and make sure they actually did check in the final versions. Because yeah, I'm not seeing them show up in there. So Tamers, it looks like for this patch at least, you got the taming skills. And you can train them. But doesn't look like the creatures are spawning, or you guys haven't found where they're spawning yet, which I find that really hard to believe. I would think at least one had been spawned and killed. So I will have to look into that with Beezus and get that fixed for the weekend. And the family is home, so I'm gonna get off. Let's do that final giveaway, and then we will get off here.
Hi, Dad.
Hi, Pumpkin. Are you trying to get on the stream? Say hi to people.
Yeah.
Oh. Whoa. And right here. You guys ask me why I work so hard on stuff. Right here for this one. Camera's right up there. You guys all raffled up? Raffle, raffly, raffly, raffly. Lancel Lancermane says, hi, princess. Did you have a good day at school? What do you think? Should I shave? You don't think so?
Dad?
I should be a mountain man?
Dad?
Hey, Dark Blue Monkey, thank you for the 50 bits. Alright, I think that's enough time for you guys to raffle.
Dad? Dad, guess where I got today?
Where?
Yes.
Did you get to off the chart? Outstanding? Yeah, that's outstanding's the top of the chart. Sometimes she's so good they move her off the top of the chart. You smell like bug spray. I guess they used their bug spray on you.
Yeah?
You should go outside and play since you already got bug spray on you. All right. Let me do this, and I'm going to get off the stream and come join you in 1 minute, Pumpkin. All right. You guys ready? I'm going to do the drawing. This one is for the Lord British cloak since Lord British joined the stream. Here we go. Closing. And picking. Kenneth, 1, 2, 3. Maybe you're just Kenneth in game. We will see if that is Kenneth in there. And so hang out for a minute and we will go raid. Again, we're going to get some more. There's a patch coming out later tonight that will fix the initial critical stuff. For a few other people out there, it fixes a few skill bugs as well. Not critical, but some people want them fixed, like the Earthquake. If you're Earth attuned, Earthquake will be faster. There's a couple others. I forget what they are, though. But let's see if I can send just... is it just Kenneth? Oh, Durin Toad sticker. Well, that's a stretch from Kenneth. Durin Toad sticker. Alright, let's get that cloak. Lord British. Fur-colored cloak. Grats. Just since I make fun of Darkstar when his cloak is up there, that Lord British must think very highly of himself to have a cloak that's 1,500 crowns. But yes, guys, I will be going to spend some time with the family. I may sleep in tomorrow and sleep into like 6 o'clock or something. Unlikely, but we'll see. Again, the release a little bit rough. We'll have a few things here. We're trying to move some things out. Again, some artifacts will start dropping in tomorrow's build. It'll be the 4-tiered artifacts for the weekend, so you guys can try them out over the weekend. I did give out some on QA so people could test them out, and they seem to go pretty well on that, but I'll get them in the actual loot bundles now. The dungeon will go live next week. Hopefully that the pirate ship will go live next week as well. What else? There's some variation of crafting tools, indestructible or semi-indestructible, or maybe they're indestructible and no drop. I don't even know for sure, but there are multiple things thrown around in terms of people being angry because there's no prosperity tools available, and it makes them sad and makes it more tedious, so I think they're trying to get some replacement out for those things. But anyways, I'll make sure the tamed animals all get added to spawns, because I can't believe that they're in a spawn and they haven't shown up yet. You guys would have found them by now. Again, guys, thank you so much for all the support. Again, we will be doing the stream tomorrow. Since it stars out, he's kind of the one that usually tries to get us to like stick to the 3:30 to 5 or whatever that is, and not really do the talk until then. But I'll probably start the stream extra early tomorrow. Like I may start it at 2 o'clock and get List in with me and see, maybe we can go do some adventuring and trying out some stuff. But again, thank you so much. If you're the first person on the stream, I still need to get you your thing.
There's a real problem. There's a cricket.
Oh,
There's a cricket.
there's a real problem. There's a cricket.
There's a cricket on the table.
A cricket on the table? That's unacceptable. Did you tell him to leave? You should ask him nicely. I bet if you ask him nicely, he'll leave.
Then he's going to get him outside.
Hold on while I find a person to raid. Yeah, Mojito doesn't eat the crickets. I know some dogs will just like go and eat crickets. Oh, Torque's up. I owe him. Let's see. Skeggy Media gave me a raid. I owe him a raid back. I've been seeing this RPE Zach guy there. Do we know if he's English streamer? He's kind of new. Let me see how many follows he has. Oh, he's already got 494 followers. I'm not going to be doing him much of a favor to stream him. Got some people there. You know what? I'm going to give, since Skeggy gave us such an amazing raid, always gives us such amazing raids, we are going to go raid Skeggy. There's probably 2 or 3 of you who haven't followed him yet. So again, guys, sorry for not being as available lately, but again, we got the release, and hopefully we will be wrapping up some of these annoying bugs right now, getting them fixed for the weekend. And again, thank you so much for all the support. Hope you guys have fun with the build, and we will be getting some of these more issues. Again, it's going to be like a multi-release. This is like R66.0, and tomorrow will be R.1, because we're going to keep turning on a few new features each build. So again, guys, go give Skeggy a follow if you haven't followed him. I'm sure you've all followed him. Surely you've followed him. And he can give a much better explanation of deck building strategies and all. But again, thank you guys so much, and see you in game. And